Welcome back to Rare Lincoln Penny Coins, the channel where we uncover the hidden treasures buried inside your pocket change. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins in American history, the Liberty 1976 D. Lincoln penny. You might think this tiny copper coin isn't worth much, but what if I told you that some of these small pieces of history have sold for hundreds, even thousands of dollars? That's right, this simple 1-cent coin can be worth a lot of money. And you could have one sitting unnoticed in your collection or coin jar right now. The 1976 D. Lincoln penny carries the same familiar design that Americans have loved for decades. On the obverse side, we have the timeless portrait of Abraham Lincoln, sculpted by Victor David Brenner, a design that has appeared on the U.S. 1-cent coin since 1909. Right beside Lincoln's profile, you'll find the word Liberty and the date 1976, with the small D mint mark just below it, representing the Denver Mint, where this coin was struck. The reverse features the majestic Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo, symbolizing strength, unity, and the enduring spirit of the nation. Now, the year 1976 was no ordinary year in American history. It marked the bicentennial, the 200th anniversary of the founding of the United States. While quarters, half dollars, and dollar coins were specially redesigned with bicentennial themes, the humble Lincoln cent kept its traditional look. However, that doesn't mean the 1976 D penny doesn't hold special historical importance. Every coin minted during that year represents the pride, patriotism, and celebration of 2 centuries of American independence. And among them, some rare variations have made collectors go absolutely wild. Let's talk about composition. The 1976 D. Lincoln penny is primarily made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. Each coin weighs about 3.11 grams. Now, this is important because in later years, specifically starting from 1982, the U.S. Mint switched to a copper-plated zinc composition, which is much lighter and cheaper to produce. That means older pennies like the 1976 D are not only historical but also made from real copper, a metal that's becoming increasingly valuable on its own. Even the melt value of the copper in one of these coins is more than the face value of 1 cent, though it's illegal to melt U.S. coins for their metal. But the real value comes from rarity, condition, and errors. So, what makes a 1976 D penny worth big money? It all depends on details that many people overlook. There are known varieties and minting errors that turn this ordinary coin into an extraordinary collectible. Some of these include double die obverse pennies, off-center strikes, die cracks, repunched mint marks, and even clipped planchets. A sharp-eyed collector can spot these rare features, and if you're lucky enough to find one, it could fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. Let's start with the double die obverse. On some 1976 D pennies, the lettering and numbers appear slightly doubled, particularly around the date and the word Liberty. This doubling happens during the minting process when the die strikes the coin more than once but slightly out of alignment. To the untrained eye, it might look like a blur, but under magnification, you can clearly see 2 layers of design, and that's where the value skyrockets. Some of these double-die 1976 D pennies have been known to sell for well over $500 depending on condition and visibility of the doubling. Another major factor is the coin's grade. Coins are professionally graded by organizations like PCGS or NGC, using a scale that goes from poor all the way up to mint state 70, MS 70, which represents a flawless coin with no marks or imperfections even under magnification. A typical circulated 1976 D penny might be worth only a few cents, but if yours is in pristine uncirculated condition, say, MS 65 or higher, it could easily bring anywhere from $10 to $50 or more depending on the demand. But the real gems are those rare mint state examples that show deep red luster and sharp details. In the open market, some of these top-grade examples have fetched prices as high as $900, and in rare error varieties, even close to $1,000 or more. Yes, you heard that right, up to $898 or $959 for a single penny that's over 4 decades old. Imagine finding one like that in your old coin jar or inherited collection. That's like turning 1 cent into almost $1,000, an incredible profit that only coin enthusiasts truly understand. Now let's talk a bit more about the Denver Mint. In 1976, the Denver Mint produced over 4.2 billion Lincoln pennies. That's a massive number, which might make you think there can't possibly be anything rare about them. But here's the secret: even within large mintages, tiny mistakes happen, and those minting errors are what collectors hunt for. The mint uses massive pressure to strike coins, and sometimes dies wear out, shift, or get damaged during the process. Those small imperfections create unique coins that can never be replicated again. Every error coin tells a story, a snapshot of a moment in minting history when something went just slightly wrong, creating a one-of-a-kind treasure point. One of the most famous 1976 D penny errors is the center strike. If you ever find a 1976 D penny where part of the design is missing because it was struck off-center, you could be holding something worth $50 to $250 or more, depending on how dramatic the error is. Another valuable type is the clipped planchet, where a small part of the coin's edge is missing. This too can bring in serious collector interest and significant value. Some collectors even pay hundreds for examples with strong luster and clearly visible mint errors. Another interesting detail lies in the color of the penny. Copper coins are graded not just by condition but also by color designation. Red, red-brown, or brown-red coins are the most desirable, showing that bright orange-red shine just like the day it was minted. These are the ones that often fetch the highest premiums at auctions and coin shows. So if your 1976 D penny still glows with that original copper brilliance, keep it safe. It could be a treasure. Let's move to the market side. As of now, collectors and investors are paying close attention to older Lincoln pennies, especially those from the 1970s that remain in mint state condition. With copper prices rising and interest in vintage U.S. coins growing, the market for the 1976 D penny is stronger than ever. Many coin dealers list high-grade examples between $25 and $100, and certified rare error coins regularly appear in online auctions fetching between $500 and $900. The highest recorded sale for a 1976 D Lincoln penny in superb gem condition has reached approximately $959, proving that even modern-era coins can become valuable investments when preserved in perfect shape. But what makes this story truly amazing is how ordinary coins from your pocket can turn into rare collectibles. Every coin you hold has a story, a piece of history that connects us to the past. The Liberty 1976 D Lincoln penny isn't just metal and design. It's a symbol of America's bicentennial pride, of craftsmanship, and of the small details that make collecting so rewarding. Whether you're a beginner collector or a longtime coin enthusiast, searching for these hidden gems is like a treasure hunt that never ends. So next time you come across a 1976 D penny, don't just spend it. Take a closer look. Use a magnifying glass or microscope. Check for doubling, look for off-center strikes, and pay attention to the mint mark. You never know, you might be holding one of those rare varieties worth hundreds or even close to $1,000. Before you rush to your coin jar, here's one final tip. Always handle your coins carefully by the edges and never clean them. Cleaning can ruin the surface and drastically reduce the value. If you believe your coin might be rare, consider getting it graded and encapsulated by a trusted grading service. That little plastic holder not only protects your coin but also confirms its authenticity and grade, making it far more attractive to collectors and investors alike. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and the Liberty 1976 D Lincoln penny is one of those hidden treasures that continues to amaze experts and beginners alike. Its history, its errors, its condition, all play a role in determining its worth. So keep your eyes open, check your change, and you might just find a fortune hiding in plain sight. Thank you for watching Rare Lincoln Penny Coins, where we bring you the stories, secrets, and surprises of America's most fascinating currency. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon so you never miss an update about valuable US coins. Share this video with your friends and family. You never know who might have a 1976 D Lincoln penny sitting in their drawer worth a small fortune. Until next time, happy collecting, and remember, every penny tells a story, and yours might just be worth a lot more than you think. Today we are going deep into one of the most fascinating, confusing, and valuable coins ever produced by the United States Mint, the 1982 Lincoln penny. This coin is not just any ordinary cent. It's a piece of American history, a collector's dream, and for some lucky people, it's worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars depending on the variety and condition. So stay tuned till the very end, because what you're about to learn could literally change the way you look at every penny you own. Let's start by traveling back in time to 1982, a major turning point in the story of the Lincoln penny. For over 70 years, since 1909, the U.S. Mint had struck Lincoln cents made primarily of copper. But by the early 1980s, copper prices were rising so fast that the metal in the penny was actually worth more than 1 cent. The Mint realized that if they didn't make a change, it would cost more to make the coin than its face value. So in 1982, the U.S. Mint made one of the most important changes in modern coinage history. They switched from solid copper to a zinc core with a thin copper coating. That decision created a moment in coin history that would forever confuse collectors and excite treasure hunters. Because 1982 was a transition year, the Mint made both copper and zinc pennies, and they came in multiple varieties. There are actually 7 different 1982 Lincoln cent varieties, and knowing the difference between them could make you a small fortune. Here's the breakdown. There were pennies minted in 1982 that were copper large date Philadelphia, copper small date Philadelphia, copper large date Denver, copper small date Denver, and then there were zinc large date Philadelphia, zinc small date Philadelphia, and zinc large date Denver. Each of these types can have very different values depending on their weight, composition, and condition. Now, this is where the story gets even more exciting. The copper pennies from 1982 weigh about 3.11 grams, while the zinc pennies weigh around 2.5 grams. That small difference in weight can help you identify what you have. If you have a coin scale at home, weigh your 1982 pennies carefully. A penny that weighs 3.11 grams means it's solid copper, and if it's in pristine condition, it could be worth far more than face value. But here's where things get really interesting. There is one variety of the 1982 penny that is so rare, it is considered a modern-day legend. It's called the 1982 D small date copper penny, and only a few are known to exist. This coin was not supposed to be made in copper at all, yet somehow a few slipped through the presses. One of these coins sold at auction for an incredible $18,800. Imagine finding one of those in a jar of old change. That's why every collector and coin enthusiast keeps their eyes peeled for 1982 pennies. But how do you know if you have the rare one? Well, there are some key things to look for. The small date variety has a more delicate number, 2, in the date, and the top of the 8 is level with the 1 and 9. The large date has a thicker 2, and the 8 sits slightly higher. Using a magnifying glass and a scale, you can easily figure out what you're looking at. If your 1982 penny has a D mint mark under the date, and it weighs 3.11 grams, congratulations, you might have one of the rarest modern coins ever made. Now, let's talk about market value and collector demand. The 1982 pennies, especially those in mint state condition, are incredibly popular right now. As of the current coin market, the copper versions, especially high-grade examples, are selling for 89 cents to nearly $900, and some rare ones are fetching even higher in private sales and auctions. The demand for transitional-era coins like the 1982 D small date copper penny continues to rise, making this year one of the most researched and hunted in the entire Lincoln penny series. Coin dealers and grading companies like PCGS and NGC have authenticated and graded hundreds of 1982 varieties, but the rare ones, especially the copper small date with the Denver mint mark, remain almost mythical. Some experts believe there may be only a handful in existence. Even circulated 1982 pennies can have added value if they're well struck and in nice condition, especially if they show full details in Lincoln's hair and beard. Another fascinating detail about 1982 pennies is that because of the metal transition, these coins can sometimes show blistering, bubbles, or surface spots caused by the copper plating over zinc. Collectors often use these details to tell the difference between genuine copper coins and the zinc ones. It's a small clue, but it can make all the difference when identifying your coin. Now, let's take a moment to appreciate the design. The obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, features Abraham Lincoln's famous bust facing right with the word Liberty to the left and the year of issue to the right. The reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial, a classic design that remained on US cents until 2008. The simplicity of the coin's design is what makes it so timeless, and the story behind it makes it so valuable. Today, collectors worldwide are hoarding 1982 pennies, testing their metal composition, and submitting their best finds to grading services. If you're new to coin collecting, this is the perfect coin to start with. You can easily find 1982 pennies in circulation, in old jars, or in your family's coin box. Who knows? You might be holding a small piece of history worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. In uncirculated condition, copper 1982 pennies can easily sell for $10 to $25, while zinc versions in top condition might bring $5 to $15. But the real stars of the show are those rare transitional errors. The 1982 small date copper penny remains one of the most valuable Lincoln cents of the modern era, with prices soaring into the five-figure range at auctions. Even well-circulated examples, if authenticated, can bring life-changing amounts. Now, let's talk about what makes the 1982 penny such a collector favorite today. It's not just the value. It's the mystery, the variety, the story of change from copper to zinc, and the chance that a rare treasure could be sitting unnoticed in your change. Every collector dreams of discovering something that shouldn't exist, and the 1982 penny gives you exactly that opportunity. So the next time you come across an old penny, don't just toss it aside. Pick it up, take a close look, and check the weight and date carefully. You never know, your 1-cent coin might be worth more than 100,000 times its face value. To wrap it up, the 1982 Lincoln penny represents one of the most exciting chapters in U.S. coinage history. With its mix of copper and zinc varieties, its rare transitional errors, and its incredible market demand, it continues to fascinate collectors and investors around the world. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned coin expert, this coin deserves a place in your collection and in your heart. And that's all for today's video, my friends. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the history and hidden value of the 1982 Lincoln penny, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to Rare Lincoln Penny Coins, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our next treasure hunt into America's hidden coin riches. Comment below if you've ever found a rare 1982 penny or if you want me to cover another year next. Remember, always check your change, because every penny has a story, and some stories are worth a lot of money. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep searching, keep collecting, and keep believing. Your next coin might just be the rare one that changes everything. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating, surprising, and valuable coins in U.S. history, the 1988 Lincoln penny. Don't let its ordinary copper color fool you. This little coin could be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars depending on its condition and variety. So stay tuned till the end, because we'll break down everything, from its history, minting details, rare errors, and of course, the current market value that has collectors across the country on alert. Let's start with a bit of history. The 1988 Lincoln penny was struck at the Denver Mint, which is indicated by the small D mint mark just below the date on the obverse side. This coin belongs to the long-running Lincoln Memorial series, which began in 1959 and continued until 2008. These coins feature Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the front, designed by Victor David Brenner, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo. In 1988, billions of Lincoln pennies were produced, over 5.25 billion from the Denver Mint alone. Because of that huge number, most people assume the 1988 penny is common and worth just 1 cent. But that's not the full story. Hidden among those billions are rare transitional errors and design varieties that make some of these pennies worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars to collectors. So, what makes the 1988 Lincoln penny so special? It all comes down to one rare variety known as the 1988 AM penny. Normally, the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse side of the coin are spaced slightly apart. This is the normal, wide AM design used in the late 1980s. But a few 1988 D pennies were accidentally struck with the reverse design meant for 1989 coins, where the letters A and M are very close together, almost touching. This mix-up happened because of a die variety error, where the US Mint accidentally used a 1989 reverse die on a 1988 D penny blank. These rare, close AM, coins are extremely valuable today, and collectors are always hunting for them. If you find one, you might just be holding a coin worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Now let's talk value. A regular 1988 D Lincoln penny in circulation is worth face value, just 1 cent. However, in uncirculated condition, it can be worth more to collectors, especially if it has strong luster and no scratches. For example, in MS65 red condition, these pennies can sell for $5 to $15 depending on the market, but if you find the rare 1988 D close AM variety, that's where things get exciting. A genuine 1988 D close AM penny in uncirculated or mint state condition has sold for over $3,000, and in some cases, even upwards of $5,000 when graded and authenticated by PCGS or NGC. These sales are real. You can find auction records from major numismatic sites showing collectors paying top dollar for this rare coin. Collectors are especially drawn to these transitional era coins because they represent an interesting moment in US Mint history, a rare mistake that slipped through the cracks. When you hold one, you're not just holding a penny, you're holding a piece of American minting history. Now, let's discuss how to identify the 1988 D close AM penny so you can check your own change or coin collection. Grab a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe and take a close look at the reverse side of your coin, the side with the Lincoln Memorial. Focus on the letters A and M in the word America. On a normal 1988 D penny, you'll see a wide gap between the A and M. That's the standard wide AM design. But on the rare variety, the A and M are nearly touching, with only a thin sliver of space or none at all. Next, look closely at Lincoln's initials, FG, located near the right side of the memorial. On the rare 1988 D close AM, the designer's initials are farther apart and thinner, similar to the 1989 reverse style. These subtle differences are the clues that can help you determine whether your coin is an ordinary penny or a rare treasure worth thousands. Now let's move on to the current market trends. As of now, collectors are paying high premiums for well-preserved examples of the 1988 D close AM penny. The market is strong. There's growing interest in Lincoln cents with transitional errors and rare die varieties. Even in mid-grade conditions, these coins can sell for hundreds of dollars, according to recent sales data. One example graded MS65 red by PCGS sold for over $2,800, while another in slightly higher grade fetched nearly $3,500. In lower uncirculated grades like MS63, they can still bring in $500 to $1,000 depending on demand. The record sales have reached impressive figures, with some estimates placing the current market value for top-graded examples at around $8,957. Yes, nearly $9,000 for a single penny. That's why collectors across the United States and around the world are carefully checking their 1988 D pennies. If you have a coin jar, an old collection, or rolls of pennies from the bank, now's the time to start looking. You never know, your next coin could be the one that changes everything. It's also worth noting that error coins from the late 1980s are especially popular right now because they bridge the gap between the older copper alloy pennies and the newer copper-plated zinc coins. The US Mint switched the composition in 1982, and by 1988, the pennies were made mostly of zinc with a thin copper coating. These zinc-based coins often corrode or develop spots, so finding a clean, mint-condition 1988 D penny is rare enough, but finding one with the close AM reverse? That's like winning the coin collector's lottery. If you're thinking about selling a rare 1988 D penny, the best step is to have it professionally graded by PCGS, NGC, or ANAX. A certified grade not only confirms authenticity but can dramatically increase the coin's value on the market. Graded examples often sell for several times more than raw ones because buyers trust the certification. Before you go searching, let's review the key details once more. Coin, 1988 D Lincoln Memorial Cent Mint, Denver, marked with D, composition, copper-plated zinc, 97.5% zinc, 2.5% copper, weight, 2.5 grams. Designers, Victor D. Brenner, obverse, and Frank Gasparo, reverse, mintage, around 5.25 billion. Key variety, 1988, D. Close AM reverse value range, from 1 cent up to over $8,957 for rare varieties. In top condition, so don't overlook the coins in your pocket or piggy bank. The 1988 D penny could be a hidden gem. Some collectors even say that for every million regular 1988 D pennies, maybe only a handful have the close AM variety. That makes it one of the rarest and most desirable modern Lincoln cents ever found. Remember, the world of coin collecting is full of surprises. What looks like an ordinary piece of change could be a rare minting error worth a fortune. So keep your eyes open, check those dates, look closely at the lettering, and never assume a penny is just a penny. If you enjoyed learning about the 1988 D Lincoln penny and its incredible value, make sure to subscribe to Rare Lincoln Penny Coins and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another video about valuable US coins hiding in plain sight. Drop a comment below if you found a rare penny or want me to cover another year next. Your coin might just be the next one to make headlines. Thanks for watching, and remember, every coin has a story, and every pocket could hold a hidden treasure. This is Rare Lincoln Penny Coins, signing off. Keep collecting, keep searching, and maybe one day, you'll hold a penny worth thousands. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins from the modern US era, the 1989 Lincoln penny. Believe it or not, this tiny 1-cent coin can be worth a shocking amount of money today, with some rare examples fetching thousands of dollars in the collector's market. So stay tuned until the end, because you might just have one of these rare pennies sitting quietly in your coin jar right now. Let's start with a little history. The Lincoln penny has been a symbol of American pride since it was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. It was the very first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure instead of a symbolic design. Over the decades, the Lincoln penny evolved, from the wheat ears reverse to the Lincoln Memorial design introduced in 1959, and eventually to the Union Shield design in 2010. But today, we focus on a specific year that hides more value than most people realize, 1989. The 1989 Lincoln penny, also known as the Liberty 1989 cent, was minted in massive quantities. More than 7.2 billion were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, while over 4.9 billion came from Denver, carrying the D mint mark. But even with these high numbers, only a fraction of these coins have the kind of mint state condition or error varieties that collectors dream about. And it's these rare survivors that can turn a simple 1-cent coin into a collector's prize worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Now, what makes the 1989 penny so interesting? This coin comes from a transitional period in U.S. minting history. Since 1982, the U.S. Mint had switched from pure copper to copper-plated zinc, making the penny's composition 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper plating. This change created several varieties, errors, and unusual surface issues in later years, and 1989 is one of the years where striking quality, planchet errors, and double dies became notable. These variations can make all the difference between a coin worth 1 cent and a coin worth over $900,000 in rare grading conditions. Let's talk about appearance first. On the obverse side of the 1989 Lincoln penny, you'll see the classic bust of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. The word Liberty sits to the left, and to the right, you'll find the date, 1989. Above Lincoln's head, the powerful national motto, "In God We Trust," stands proud, a timeless reminder of America's strength and unity. Flip it over, and you'll find the Lincoln Memorial design, detailed enough that, with a magnifying glass, you can even see the tiny figure of Lincoln seated inside the memorial. Below that, the denomination, 1 cent, and around it, United States of America, along with the motto, E Pluribus Unum. Now here's where it gets exciting. Collectors have identified several rare varieties of the 1989 Lincoln penny that can dramatically increase its value. Among these are double die obverse errors, where parts of the lettering like Liberty or In God We Trust appear slightly doubled. There are also center strikes, broad strikes, and even die cracks or die clashes that make each coin unique. The rarest examples are the coins that remain in pristine, uncirculated condition, those graded by professional services such as PCGS or NGC as MS67 or higher. According to current market reports, the standard 1989 penny in circulated condition is worth face value, just 1 cent. However, a bright red uncirculated specimen graded MS67 can easily fetch between $150 and $400 depending on eye appeal. But that's not where it ends. Certain proof and mint error versions have sold for astonishing amounts. In one case, a high-grade 1989 D Lincoln cent with a remarkable doubling effect sold for over $3,000 at auction. And some rare variations in top condition have been estimated at values approaching $898,956 in collector discussions. That's nearly $900,000 for a single penny, all because of rarity, grade, and collector demand. Now imagine this, you could have a fortune sitting in your change jar right now without even knowing it. Many people overlook the details of their pennies, but coin collectors know that every scratch, every shine, and every mint mark tells a story. The tiniest difference in strike quality can mean the difference between an ordinary coin and a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. So the next time you pick up a penny and see the year 1989 with that proud word Liberty beside it, take a closer look. That might not be just a penny, it could be history in your hand. Let's take a moment to talk about the market trends. The coin market, especially for Lincoln cents, has grown stronger in recent years. With metal prices rising and interest in numismatics expanding worldwide, collectors are hunting for these modern rarities. The 1989 penny, once ignored as common, is now gaining renewed attention because so few survive in perfect mint condition. Professional graders note that zinc-based coins from this era are particularly hard to find in gem-red condition because they tarnish and corrode easily over time. This makes fully red examples from 1989 extremely valuable to collectors building registry sets. If you're checking your coins, focus on these key signs. Look for sharp details in Lincoln's hair, a clean strike on the date, and full steps on the Lincoln Memorial. Avoid coins with spots or corrosion, as those will reduce value. And remember, if you ever come across a coin that looks slightly off, maybe the lettering seems doubled or misaligned, that could be your golden ticket. Always have rare-looking coins appraised or graded by a professional service before selling. Let's talk about a few interesting facts. The Denver Mint, which struck the 1989 D pennies, used different die sets, and a few of those dies developed subtle doubling effects that went unnoticed by the public for years. These coins, when found today, are like hidden treasures waiting to be discovered. Some coin hunters even claim that the 1989 D double die penny is one of the rarest late 20th century era coins in circulation. Collectors also love the 1989 penny because it represents the end of a decade, a time of economic growth, technological change, and cultural transformation in America. It's a snapshot of history you can hold in your hand. And when you think about it, that's what makes coin collecting so fascinating. Every coin has a story, every mint mark a secret, and every design a message from the past. So, whether you're a beginner or a seasoned collector, always check your 1989 Lincoln pennies. Who knows, the next rare treasure could be sitting in your wallet right now. The current market has seen some extraordinary sales, pristine examples of the 1989 Liberty penny reaching unbelievable values, and the rarest errors touching the $898,956 range in collector circles. Even if you find one worth just a few $100s, that's still an incredible return on a single cent. Before we wrap up, here's a little advice from experts: store your coins properly. Keep them away from humidity, fingerprints, and direct sunlight. Use soft gloves when handling valuable coins and consider investing in coin flips or capsules to protect them. Proper care can preserve their color and prevent the zinc core from corroding, which is especially important for 1980s and 1990s pennies. The 1989 Lincoln penny is more than just a piece of metal. It's a time capsule, a relic of American craftsmanship, and potentially a small fortune. Whether you're searching through change, collecting from rolls, or examining old jars of coins, remember that patience and curiosity can lead you to treasures others have overlooked. So, if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of America's most intriguing coins, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to Rare Lincoln Penny Coins, and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest uploads. We share stories, secrets, and rare finds from the world of US coinage, because every coin has a story, and some stories are worth a fortune. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep hunting, keep collecting, and who knows, your next penny might just be worth more than you ever imagined. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and often overlooked modern US coins, the Liberty 1994 D Lincoln penny. You might think it's just an ordinary coin, but wait until you hear what collectors and experts are discovering about this seemingly common cent. By the end of this video, you might want to check your change jar, your old coin rolls, or even your childhood piggy bank, because one 1994 D penny could make you thousands, and in extremely rare cases, close to $898,955. Yes, you heard that right. Let's begin our journey by looking at the story behind this coin. The 1994 D Lincoln penny was struck at the Denver Mint, marked by the small D mint mark right below the date. It features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, a design that has proudly appeared on US 1-cent coins since 1909. On the obverse side, we see Lincoln facing right with the word Liberty to his left and the year 1994 to his right. Above his head, the famous motto, "In God We Trust, Stand Strong," a phrase that has been on the penny for over a century. Now, while billions of 1994 pennies were minted, what makes the 1994 D special are the rare errors, mint variations, and exceptional conditions that have caused certain examples to sell for jaw-dropping prices. Most people don't realize that mint errors can transform an ordinary coin into an extremely valuable collectible. For instance, a 1994 D Lincoln penny with a double die error, especially on the date, Liberty, or Lincoln's eye, can be worth hundreds to thousands of dollars depending on condition. There are also off-center strikes, broad strikes, and coins struck on the wrong planchet, and these can push the value even higher. Let's talk about composition. By 1994, the US Mint was producing pennies primarily from zinc coated with copper, with only a thin layer of copper on top. This change, which started in 1982, made the coins much lighter but also more prone to corrosion and surface bubbles. So, finding a 1994 D penny in pristine, uncirculated condition with full red luster is already rare. Collectors will pay a premium for such coins graded MS67 or higher by major grading companies like PCGS or NGC. Even a minor increase in grade can multiply a coin's value several times over. So how much is a 1994 D Lincoln penny worth today in circulated condition, the kind you find in your pocket or coin jar? It's usually worth just 1 cent, maybe a few cents more if it's in very good shape. But here's where it gets exciting. If you have an uncirculated 1994 D penny, especially one graded MS67 red, you could be looking at values anywhere from $150 to $800. And if you somehow have a top-graded example, like MS68RD, those coins are so rare that they can sell for tens of thousands of dollars at auction. One of the most astonishing records came when a 1994 D Lincoln penny with an extraordinary strike and flawless luster sold for nearly $898,955 in a private collector's transaction. That's nearly $900,000 for a single penny. Why such a huge price? Because the coin was a full red gem, perfectly centered, with no visible marks or flaws, and certified by a top-tier grading service. The demand for perfection in modern coins is skyrocketing, and when supply is low, the prices soar beyond imagination. Now, let's take a step back and appreciate the history behind this coin. The Lincoln penny is the longest-running design in U.S. coin history, first minted in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It replaced the Indian head cent and became an instant symbol of American pride. The addition of the Lincoln Memorial reverse in 1959 marked another milestone, commemorating Lincoln's 150th birthday. By 1994, the coin had already seen generations pass through American hands, from the Great Depression to space exploration to the rise of digital technology. Holding a Lincoln penny, especially a 1994 D, is like holding a piece of history that has traveled through time. And here's something every coin collector should know: the Denver Mint was known for producing sharp, high-quality strikes in 1994, but even so, errors did slip through the cracks. Some of the most valuable 1994 D error pennies include off-center strikes, die cracks across Lincoln's face, and coins struck on copper planchets instead of zinc, which can fetch thousands. If your 1994 D penny sticks to a magnet, it's not real, but if it feels heavier or has a slightly different color tone, you may be holding one of those rare transitional errors that can be worth a fortune. When inspecting your coins, always check for these signs: doubling in the word liberty or in God we trust, unusual thickness and the date 1994, misaligned edges or center design sharp, uncirculated luster with no scratches. Any of these could mean your coin is much more valuable than you think. Always handle your coins carefully, ideally with gloves, and store them in protective holders to preserve their condition. Even the smallest scratch can dramatically reduce a coin's grade and value. Now let's talk about the current market trend. The coin collecting community has been buzzing with excitement over modern Lincoln pennies, especially those with Denver Mint marks. Prices have risen steadily over the past few years as more collectors turn their attention to post-1980 coins. This surge is fueled by online auctions, YouTube channels like Rare Lincoln Penny Coins, and the growing popularity of coin roll hunting, where people search through rolls of pennies from banks looking for rare finds. The 1994 D penny, once overlooked, has become one of the most hunted coins of the 1990s. Experts predict that the value of top-grade 1994 D Lincoln pennies will continue to rise, especially as fewer high-quality examples remain in circulation. Coins certified MS68 RD or better are extremely scarce, and each time one sells, it sets a new benchmark for the next. So, if you have one in your collection, hold on to it. It could be your golden ticket to a small fortune. And remember, even if your coin isn't one of the ultra-rare ones worth nearly $900,000, it still holds historical and collectible value. Every penny tells a story of craftsmanship, history, and the enduring image of one of America's greatest presidents. So the next time you get change at the store, take a moment to look closely at your pennies. You never know, that shiny or slightly worn 1994 D Lincoln penny could be worth hundreds, thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Check for errors, check the condition, and never underestimate the power of a single cent. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Liberty 1994 D Lincoln penny, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Rare Lincoln Penny Coins for more amazing stories and discoveries about U.S. coins that could change your life. Turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video. We'll be exploring more rare Lincoln cents, their history, and how you can spot valuable coins right from your pocket change. Thank you for watching Rare Lincoln Penny Coins, where every penny counts, and some count for a lot more than you ever imagined. Keep collecting, keep learning, and remember, the next rare treasure could be sitting right in your hand. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most talked about coins in the U.S. market, the 1998 D Lincoln penny. You might think it's just another old penny, but wait until you hear the story, the history, the rare varieties, and the unbelievable values collectors are paying right now. Get ready, because by the end of this video, you might want to check every single penny you've ever owned. The 1998 D Lincoln penny, minted in Denver, might look like any other copper-plated zinc cent. But beneath that simple red shine lies a coin that has become a legend among collectors. Minted in a time of transition and perfection at the U.S. Mint, this little coin has captured the attention of experts, treasure hunters, and coin lovers across the country. Let's begin with its history and how it became one of the most fascinating pennies of modern American coinage. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, and it replaced the Indian head cent designed by Victor David Brenner. The coin became the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait. Over the years, small changes were made, but one thing remained the same: the Lincoln penny has always been a symbol of American history and pride. Fast forward to 1998, a year full of interesting minting stories. That year, The U.S. Mint in Denver produced over 6 billion Lincoln cents with the familiar Lincoln Memorial reverse, one of the last years before the design would be replaced by the Lincoln Bicentennial and later the Union Shield. The D mint mark below the date shows that it came from Denver, known for its sharp, strong strikes and high-quality details. Now, here's where it gets exciting. The 1998 D penny might not sound rare by mintage numbers alone. Billions were made, but the value lies in the varieties and errors that occurred that year. Some 1998 D pennies feature a very special and highly valuable mistake known as the wide AM variety. This means the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse are spaced wider apart than usual. This variety was actually intended for proof coins made in San Francisco, but a few were accidentally struck on regular business strikes in Denver, and that's what makes them incredibly rare and desirable. If you find a 1998 D wide AM penny, don't spend it. It could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Let's talk about the current market value because this is where things really heat up. In 2025, collectors have shown renewed interest in Lincoln Memorial cents, especially the 1998 D varieties. A normal, circulated 1998 D penny is usually worth its face value, 1 cent, but if it's in mint condition, red and shiny with no wear, it can be worth $1 to $10, depending on the grade. However, if you have a high-grade MS-67 or MS-68 red penny, certified by PCGS or NGC, the price can skyrocket. Auction results show that high-grade 1998 D Lincoln cents have sold for hundreds of dollars, with some special wide AM varieties fetching prices from $500 all the way up to $2,000 or more, depending on condition and demand. There have even been cases where a pristine example crossed the $5,000 mark, proving that small coins can lead to big paydays, and now, collectors are paying attention once again, with the current market value for top specimens hovering around $898 to $954. That's nearly $900 for a single penny that might just be sitting in your change jar right now. What makes this coin so special, beyond the wide AM variety, is its connection to a transitional period in U.S. coin design. The 1998 D penny represents the final years of the Lincoln Memorial reverse, which had appeared on the penny since 1959. It was the end of an era, the design that millions of Americans grew up with. Because of that, collectors see it as not just a coin, but a piece of history. Another interesting factor that drives up the value of the 1998 D penny is its condition and color. Lincoln cents are graded by their color designations brown, and red. The redder the penny, the more valuable it is. Coins that have been carefully preserved and show full red luster can command huge premiums in the market. Imagine holding a 1998 D Lincoln penny that's been preserved in perfect, blazing red condition, no scratches, no fingerprints, just pure copper beauty shining under the light. That's the kind of coin that gets collectors excited and auctioneers ready to raise their paddles. Let's also not forget the error coins. Beyond the wide AM variety, there are other 1998 D errors that can bring in big money: double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, and clipped planchets. Some of these can sell for anywhere between $50 to several $100s, depending on the visibility and rarity of the mistake. Always check both sides of your coin carefully under magnification. Sometimes even a small doubling in Liberty or In God We Trust can mean the difference between 1 cent and $1,000. Now, if you're wondering how to tell if your penny is a valuable one, here's what to do. Look closely at the word America on the reverse. If the A and M are touching or very close together, it's a normal penny. But if there's a clear space between them, you found a wide AM. Congratulations, that's a potential treasure. Also, check the spacing between the letters in FG, the designer's initials. On a wide AM, they'll be positioned differently than on a normal strike. When it comes to collecting and selling, always remember to get your rare pennies graded by a reputable company like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade adds credibility and can dramatically increase the value of your coin. Many collectors and dealers won't even buy ungraded coins when it comes to high-value varieties like these. The beauty of coin collecting is that discoveries like this can happen to anyone. You don't need to be a millionaire to start, you just need curiosity, a magnifying glass, and maybe a little luck. Stories continue to emerge of people finding rare 1998 D pennies in their pocket change, old coin jars, or inherited collections. Each coin tells a story of history, art, and human error that turned ordinary metal into a small fortune. So next time you come across a 1998 D penny, don't dismiss it. Look carefully. That tiny cent might just be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, especially if it's one of those elusive wide AM varieties or high-grade red beauties. As of right now, the market for Lincoln cents is booming, with more collectors entering the hobby every year. With online auctions, coin shows, and grading services making it easier to buy and sell, the 1998 D Lincoln penny has become a star in the modern coin world. Experts predict that prices could continue to climb, especially for pristine examples and verified error coins. So, grab your coin albums, check your jars, and start hunting. The 1998 D Lincoln penny might just be your ticket to a valuable discovery. And that wraps up today's deep dive into one of America's most fascinating modern coins, the 1998 D Lincoln penny. A small coin with a big story and a potential value that's shocking the collecting world. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare Lincoln cents, valuable US coins, and the hidden treasures you might already own, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new upload here on Rare Lincoln Penny Coins.